Hey, buddy. Welcome into Tackle on My Mind. It's on my mind today. Can I make it to Texas? So I got a video here of a recent tournament. This was the Ohio B.A.S.S. Nation Tournament, state tournament, to try to qualify to fish at the Classic in March down in Texas. We're fishing Hoover Reservoir down in Columbus. I was able to come down about a week earlier and do some pre-fishing. To qualify for this tournament this year in Ohio, each of the tournament leagues qualify through those. I qualified being top 4 in tackle. You had to be a member of B.A.S.S. to begin with. It's the first little dink fish I caught here. Small little largemouth. Just thinking about Hoover, again, it's the second time I ever fished it and fished in the same area I practiced in. Water is extremely low. This reservoir feeds a lot of the city of Columbus. Ohio kind of had a bit of a drought this summer. So this reservoir is super low in water. What you're going to see here is a lot of rocky banks, a lot of rocky points. And if you look up, excuse me, to where all the vegetation is, that's the normal water. So my plan today was to do a lot of cranking, a lot of crankbaits. Fishing this little stretch here, got a little square bell tied on. So have a DT8, Rapala DT8 tied on, kind of switching back and forth between those two as I go down this bank. Kind of a rough part for me in this tournament was, even though this is a back pocket kind of bay, I guess a pocket off the main lake, the prime spot seems like every time I got there, someone else is there. You see I'm coming on another angler's fishing in the tournament also. Kind of moving towards me. He was on the point he just saw me on and went out to another point, and now he's kind of making his way back. I wasn't sure here if he was intended to finish this bank or not. Yeah. Conversation going with him here.
Good. I didn't expect much early this morning.
No, I think once that sun comes up, it'll change the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, any fish right now is a bonus.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So he started telling me about a boat that came in and kind of threw up some nice wake at him and buzzed right by him. That called for language being used, kind of muted that part out. But he kind of started making his way around me. So that kind of, opened up this bank for me to continue fishing down, which you'll see me here. Right up against the bank, it's shallow. You get off the bank a little bit, it gets a little bit deeper. That's why I would go back and forth. And then where I was casting with a square bill, which runs about 4 feet. ET8, it gets down to 8 feet. Woodpecker in the background. I didn't even think I heard him when I was fishing. There's a homeowner's boat dock, not floating anymore. On a main lake point here. And switching back and forth between those two crankbaits. Another one.
You guys started getting a little bit bigger than that, buddies.
Yeah. 12-inch minimum. Struggling to catch anything that big. It's a little bigger. And you can see me cranking. He just started swimming right towards me, so I was doing as fast as I could. Don't laugh too much at my one netting technique. I discovered a new technique. Instead of putting the net under the fish, I'll lift the fish into the net. I wouldn't recommend. This guy ended up being 12 and a half, so I finally got my first keeper. And I'm on that same point. I'm on that same little crankbait. I like that Lucky Craft 1.5 DRS. It's more of that awesome netting technique. I just changed my mind and you need to put in a net. Not a very big fish. Interesting point about that point is if you paddle up to it, once you get right past that point, there is a drop off instantly down to 20 feet. I had to go right past that drop off. 2 casts in a row. So the fish are there. Really could have just used them. Could have been used a little bit bigger fish at this time. But it's early in the morning and I had plenty of time to go. So he's a little bigger. So there's 24 anglers in this tournament, and anyone who places in the top 8 qualifies for the B.A.S.S. National Kayakers much of next year. The different regional leagues and state leagues across the state of Ohio, based on their B.A.S.S. membership, each send people. Here I'm just showing a little part of my video. Plus some kayakers are out. Do some crappie fishing. Kind of comes into play a little bit later on. Again, this is another big point that comes out here. Decided to down the crankbait for a minute. A few laydowns along the bank, so I went and grabbed my wacky rig on this tree. Wacky rig I'm throwing. Picture of things up here, but I like that Z-Man Zinkerz. It's got that elastic feature that Z-Man uses in all their plastics. Works great for me for a wacky rig because it stays on the hook and I can pretty much use it. Quite a few casts and use it quite a few fish. knowing the water was a little deeper in places, I did use a little weighted wacky rig hook. Get down and quicker. Color there is a Braid grass, but the color I was using mostly is a Mudbug now, and according to some from Z-Man, they are no longer making them. That picture there is interesting. There's a lot of turkey vultures in this area where I'm at right now. So I'm back to fish a few more laydowns. Keep it off in there in the future. It's one of the little bass trawler boats. He was going back and forth from the ramp, which was just off to my left. One time he had it loaded down with about 3 kids and 2 adults. Then he came back and picked up another adult. I was really curious as to where they were. Stick with the video here and you'll see where they are. Fortunately, he's not really fishing this area, so I'm not really worried about him, getting in any of my fish or anything like that. As an angler, kayak angler, down this stretch, I came down here. About mid-morning bite here. It's on that Z-Man Zinkerz. So you can see I'm catching fish, but boy, am I for some size. Up that area, I'm heading back to that main lake point that I like. This fish to our secondary point. And you can hear and see the kids and the family there. I showed that because that's where that guy dropped all this. Now they're fishing a spot that I was in. I went back and pulled out the whacking rig again and see what I can find. This is late in the afternoon. We're about 2 o'clock here. A bit later. Tournament ends at 2:30, at 3 o'clock. So I'm sitting on 4 fish. Knowing if I get a limit, I'm probably going to be sitting in pretty good shape. So I got a chance. So you guys have caught some pretty nice fish today, but again, I'm looking to get in the top 8. Pretty happy. This guy, you can pinch the tail for a measurement in this tournament, and his tail was just a quivering. I couldn't get it to sit still long enough to where I get a picture. Finally, I got one. Here again, I'm back at that was fish 5. I'm currently sitting in exactly 8th place. A couple of fun kayakers out, just enjoying themselves, and back to that main lake point. In the DD10, and all of a sudden, boom, something just smacked it. I can tell this is the biggest fish I've had all day. I'm pumping here. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty excited. This could be the kicker fish I need. He gets into my donkey leash. He's a mess. He comes up and you can see that's not a bass.
Wrong species.
Oh, you weren't looking for that one, huh?
I was not. It's a walleye.
Yeah,
Pretty nice one.
yeah. As you can see, it looks, what, 12, 14 at least?
Emery caught a walleye to me. Yeah,
That's it.
you
Not
know,
the one I want, though.
walleye saw guy. I know there's a difference.
Yeah.
Fish enough
You
for
want
either of them to time was even thinking about saw
I don't
guy
have any
being
way
in
to
there.
get him home. Maybe these guys over here want him.
Well, I knew he wasn't a bass.
You guys want a walleye?
What?
Want a
Behind me
walleye?
is that
Oh, crappie.
You want one?
Walleye? Yeah, sure.
so behind me is that family of fishermen
I'm
fishing
headed
on the
that direction.
shore. See a couple more across from me. There's a kayaker over there. As I said, no matter where I went, there seemed to be someone there or someone had already fished it. That fishing is pretty precious in this little area. Probably should have ventured out someplace, but I was catching fish. The way I offered this, people who are fishing on shore or fish for crappie, thought maybe they'd like add a bigger fish to their bucket. See, he comes over and over to him.
I'm gonna need a bigger bucket.
And a 5-gallon bucket that he's using for his crappie. And
Really?
My mom.
Oh, that's the best.
I caught a walleye one time and I gave it to my mom.
Here, man. That's what I was thinking. Careful, he's got teeth.
Oh, he's huge. He's like a. Oh, he's a big one. Oh man, appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Where'd you catch him?
Deep diving crankbait.
Yeah, that's what I usually use out here too, is crankbait. But I brought my kids out here, so I had to crappie fish. Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
A good one.
I was hoping for, I thought he was a big bass there for a minute.
It looked like a big bass.
I was pretty darn excited.
You guys have a tournament or something?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it, for bass?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's 5. I got 5, but I could use a bigger one.
Dang. I appreciate it, boss.
Hey, no problem. Someone can eat them.
Oh yeah, we're gonna eat them all right.
No, you will love that.
Yeah.
You'll stop fishing crappie.
So I was glad to be able to give that fish away. Make someone happy eating it. I wasn't happy catching it, but give them a good meal to eat.
Technically, it's probably a saw guy. I don't really know the difference, but
Looks like edible to me.
very much so. No, that's good eating there.
So I got a big mess from catching that of the
Oh,
Dobyns.
yeah, you catch it.
Stuff hanging all over the place. So strike up a little conversation with the little girl here.
You didn't catch any today? You didn't catch any today? Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I do like these Cheetos.
Yeah, I like Cheetos too.
I like your kayak.
Oh, thank you. We got a pretty good mess here now, though. Hey, do me a favor. Hold this.
Okay.
Don't take it from me.
No.
You're not gonna?
No.
You're a good kid.
We're 7.
7. Holy smokes.
Dad, what are you doing?
He's helping me. Alright. I got it. Thanks, kiddo.
No, why are you holding the fishing rod?
I asked her to. Because I needed her help. Careful. I'll have to catch you.
No.
So I ended up with just those
Don't catch you.
5 fish. In the last 30 minutes, some guys caught a few, posted, ended up ahead of me. Tackle anglers, he qualified
About
for
4
another
inches,
league
though.
he it's in,
So that's not so bad, but
and I ended
I
up
could
in
not
10th
find a
place.
fish over 13.5 inches today.
I only caught 4 fish total and only 2 scorables the whole day.
I caught a shitload. I caught a bunch of fish. But they're all 6 inches long. Thought I was at Lost Land for a minute.
Huh?
I thought maybe I was at Lost Land.